Hello, my name is Patrick Noel from VIAVI Solution, and today we'll be talking about how to perform an Ethernet optic self-test with a T-BERD 5800 tester. So what you would need is, of course, a T-BERD 5800 unit and the test option for the optic interface that you want to test. So maybe a 10 gig Ethernet test, or 25 gigabit Ethernet, 40 gigabit Ethernet, or 100 gigabit Ethernet. You'll also need a patch cord that you will be able to connect from the transmit to the receive of your optics, so that we can run the test through the optic self-test. Of course, you would need to have a microscope and the right tips to be able to inspect before you connect all your jumper connectors from on the SFP and on the patch cord. So the first thing you would do is you go into the select test, and you would go into Ethernet and then choose which interface that you want to test. If you want to do a 10 gig test, then you would go into the 10 gig LAN option, and then you would see the optic self-test on the top of the page, and then you show which port that you are running the test onto, port 1 or port 2. In my case, I have a dual port test set. If you only have a single port, then you would have only P1. So we have a workflow that will assist you in configuring the optical self-test. And once you have created a workflow, you could reuse and load an existing configuration, or you can do it from scratch like I will be doing today to show you how to configure it. It is pretty simple and self-explanatory. So what I'll do is I'll start a new configuration, and if you had a profile already done, you could start with the previous configuration or loaded profile. So I'll start from new. Usually test recommendation will change depending on the BERD threshold that you want to perform. So in this case here, I would do 1 by 10 minus 12 would take about 5 minutes. Right, what I would probably configure here, just for the sake of this demo, to keep the time low, I would put 10 minus 9, and you see the recommended time is changing according to the BERD threshold that I want to achieve. You could also do it by yourself and say, okay, I want the test to be 30 seconds up to 48 hours. The standard ppm max offset is 100, but you could, as it on the description here, change the offset to change the increase and decrease of the offset while the test is performed. You can do check on stop on errors, or you can run and let it show you what are the errors. If you want to save the profile, you just click here on the save profile, and then you give it a name and save the profile using the button Save Profiles. Right now what I'll do is I'll go next. The next thing you do is you could put a customer name on your current test, and then technician ID, test location, work order, and the notes. And you can also select the logo and put your own logo on the report. Last thing is here I have the result overview, and I have the test SFP optics button. While the test is performing, it's going to tell you how much time it remains for the test. And while the test is running, I can look at the current results. I can look at the optical power. So I have a +1 and a -9 as transmit and receive. And if I look at the digital display monitoring, I can look at the SFP temperature while the test is running, and also the bias current that is applied to the SFP. So those are mainly the things that you'll get from the optic self-test. While the test is running, you see that the ppm offset goes from 0 to 100 and back to 0. So it's cycled through to see if the locking mechanism on the SFP is still working fine, even if there is some ppm offset applied to the electronics. So once the test is all done and completed, you will have pass-fail criteria. Here you see that the test pass is green. It gives you a pass on signal, optical signal test, and the current BERT was no bit errors while I ran my test for 1 minute. So I would say that this optics is completely fine and workable. Next, I can create a report in PDF, CSV, text, HTML, XML. Then I can create the optic self-test. Just the basic or the default will be optic self-test, the date and time that the test has been performed. And then I can create a report. I have checked the review report after creation. So once the test is created, the report just appears here on the window. And then I can check the results of the test, and then all the information that was configuration and results of the test are on the PDF report. Once I exit this, I can do next and redo another optics if I want to. I hope this was helpful for you, and if you have any questions, just contact support at VIAVIsolution.com, and they will be able to help you out with any question that you have.